So let's get through the first seal. Now I watched when the Lamb opened one of the 7 seals, and I heard one of the 4 living creatures say with a voice like thunder, "Come." And I looked, and behold, a white horse, and its rider had a bow, and a crown was given to him, and he came out conquering and to conquer. So, I feel like there's a lot of confusion on, or misconceptions on, what the white horse represents. So, like last week when we were going through the dispensational premillennialism view, as I have been taught it in the past by people who believed it, they would view the white horse as representing the Antichrist or the beast.
See, that's what I actually read that today when I was in the Blue Letter Bible app,
Mm-hmm.
and it said, one of the commentaries that he goes over, and he was like, I think this represents the Antichrist, but he didn't give like an explanation. He was just like, I think it's that.
Yeah.
And I was like, but it kind of sounds like it's Christ.
Yeah, and so that's what I was going to say. Is that a lot of people try to say that this is the Antichrist, but I would argue that this is representative of Christ. Mm-hmm. So this is the first horseman is representing Christ, and that this is Christ preceding his after his church. So wherever Christ goes, he's conquering. So as his gospel is spreading throughout the world, he has conquered and he's conquering currently. Yeah. We can see that this can be deduced that the horse is white, and the color white is always associated with holiness in the Bible. The rider has a crown of gold. This shows the kinghood. So he has the kinghood of Christ. And finally, whenever the word conquer occurs, it always refers to, except for 2 exceptions, Christ or his church. Right. So John, whenever he's using the word conquer, he's always referring to either Christ or his church, except for 2 cases. Mm-hmm. And those are specified. It's very obvious that he's not talking about Christ and the church in those cases. And so kind of some examples that also kind of go along with this depiction is Matthew 24 and Psalm 45, 3 through 5. So if you'll turn to Psalm 45 for me, I'll get to Matthew 24.
All right, I'm there.
All right, read Psalm 45 for me.
3 through 5?
Yes.
Gird your sword on your thigh, O mighty one, in your splendor and majesty. In your majesty ride out victoriously for the causes of truth and meekness and righteousness. Let your right hand teach you awesome deeds. Your arrows are sharp in the heart of the king's enemies. The peoples fall under you.
Yeah. So even in that psalm, which is a messianic prophecy, right. Even that psalm, he even uses the same imagery of bow and arrow as we see with the conquering of the white horse. And what's also important as we go through these segments is Matthew 24. Matthew 24 is practically just a straight up outline of this section.
Really?
Seriously, it is. As we go through it, you see just a practically straight outline of this whole section that we're going through. So Matthew 24, as he sat on the Mount of Olives, and this is starting in verse 3, as he sat on the Mount of Olives, the disciples came to him privately, saying, Tell us, when will these things be, and what will be the sign of your coming and of the end of the age? And Jesus answered him, See that no one lead you astray, for many people will come in my name, saying, I am the Christ, and they will lead many astray. And you will hear of wars and rumors of war. See that you are not alarmed, for this must take place. But the end is not yet, for nation will rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there will be famines and earthquakes in various places. All these are but the beginning of the birth pains. Then they will deliver you up to tribulation and put you to death, and you will be hated by all nations for my name's sake. And then many will fall away and betray one another and hate one another, and many false prophets will arise and lead many astray. And because lawlessness will be increased, the love of many will grow cold, but the one who endures to the end will be saved. And this gospel of the kingdom will be proclaimed throughout the whole world as a testimony to all nations, and then the end will come. And so he kind of gives us examples, like almost verbatim, of how we're going to see this going through. So, the white horse is representing Christ, and obviously the advance of Christ's kingdom as the gospel is carried out. And it's important to know that when these other horsemen are essentially following the white horseman out, right?
Yeah.
And we can see this as essentially the idea is that wherever Christ goes and wherever people turn to Christ and are accepted, persecution and hardship follow.
Yeah, they're going to follow.
Yeah.